All right, good morning, guys. Quick sound check. Let me know you can hear me. Tuesday, November 5th. How's everybody doing this morning? Markets are gapping up a little bit. Hopefully that is of benefit to you guys. Awesome. Appreciate that, Duke. Thank you, Coach Frank. All right, so let's take a look at the markets here, see what we got going this morning. Currently, we have a little bit of a gap up across the board. I think that was to be expected. We talked about that yesterday. If we were able to pretty much hold the gap, then we could see another little gap up this morning here. And that's what we're getting. The gap was like 10 or 15 points larger here in the NASDAQ, at least, 15 minutes ago or so. But right now we've got S&P's up 0.17% on the day, NASDAQ up 0.17, Russell up 0.43, and the Dow up 0.27 here. So Russell looking good here, and most likely that's on the backs of crude oil again. So crude oil is up 63 cents here on the day. This thing is going to be pushing kind of back up through these highs, and this looks really good for a move higher here in the crude markets there. So crude getting a little bit of a kind of mojo going today here, and I think this has some room to run. So I do like crude oil to the long side there, and I think that's going to continue to put some upward pressure on the Russell. As for news announcements on the day here, we have really nothing. ISM non-manufacturing PMI at 11 o'clock here. But before that and after that, really nothing else here on the day for us. Again, it's a really light week in terms of both earnings and also in terms of news announcements there. So again, nothing really to pay attention to there. If you take a look at the currency pairs here across the top of the board, you can see the biggest mover right now is going to be the Euro USD here. Percentage change over the last 24 hours is 0.52% to the upside. And the USD JPY 0.40% to the upside there, which is actually working out really nicely for the Forex alerts that were dropped in the room yesterday. That has already hit first two profit targets with a long from 108.45 in that one. So really nice work out of Jay on those. You can see those are the top two moving currency pairs this morning. Now, in terms of the markets, like we said, Russell is the strongest here. I'm going to say NASDAQ is kind of the weakest. NASDAQ and S&Ps are kind of tied here, 0.18%, 0.20% to the upside. But the reason I'm going to say NASDAQ is a little bit weaker here is just where we're gapping to this morning. Now, if we take a look here at, where's it at? There it is. If we take a look at the foregrid here, you'll notice, okay, S&Ps are gapping up here 30.81 quarters. It's going to come kind of like right in through here. So it's putting us, pretty much right up at yesterday's highs here. Coming from new lows yesterday, so right in towards the 3 o'clock time frame there, you can see S&Ps and Dow both got new lows with signals. The NASDAQ and the Russell did not. Now, S&P's gapping here to 81.50s. NASDAQ gapping here to like kind of 29 area. So the reason I think NASDAQ is a little bit weaker here is it had a stronger close yesterday, but it didn't get the reaction kind of off these lows, right? So I'm looking at, across the board, we've got Netflix down a little bit this morning. We had McDonald's up a little bit this morning. We had BYD up this morning, like $2 and some change. And NASDAQ not really, kind of gapping as much as the overall markets here. So that's one thing I'm watching there with the NASDAQ, S&Ps, Russell, and Dow kind of correlations there on the day. Now, one other thing that we have today, before we get into the levels, that is a standout here that we haven't seen, in this rally up, something that we haven't seen here, is we actually have gold and bonds down this morning. So again, we were watching gold yesterday here. If we would get up through, if we were going to get up through this kind of 15, 19 area in here, then I was looking for gold to go, 1553s up here. We were really unable to do so. We tried to hold this 1510.10s and really, again, unable to do so. Tried to eke it out a little bit there into the close, but then gave it up in the after hours session. And we've got gold down 1.24% this morning. That's $18.70. And I was talking with Jay yesterday morning when we were looking for that breakthrough. And basically the text that I'd sent him was, if we crack 1505s in the gold markets, then we're sub 1480s in a hurry. And you can see we're already down 1.24% here on the day. And I don't think this is going to have any signs of slowing down here on the day. So keep an eye on a couple levels here in the gold markets. 1493 is right where we're currently printing at. And then down below, we've got 1486.40s. And then down below that, 1481.20s here for the gold market. So we could see a little bit of a bounce here this morning from the U.S. equity market open off this 1493s. But ultimately, I think this level is going to kind of base out for a bit and then gold take its next leg to the downside there. In terms of bonds here, bonds right back down towards those lows here. We held the 159.10 level yesterday by one tick there on the downside, and then again gave it up in the overnight session and have just been completely flushing since then. So bonds down 0.74% today, and all of this leads me to take a look at the S&Ps and go, okay, we've got bonds down big, gold down big, crude's up, markets are gapping up small here, but we're gapping almost over a red bar here on the daily chart that we kind of set yesterday. So what I'm looking for and what I'm watching right now in the overall markets is we are getting extended here to the upside. If we look at the daily chart here, we're pretty, that's a pretty good move, right? From basically Thursday into the gap up Friday and then another gap up on Monday. We had a 10.5 point range yesterday, so fairly tight range there with the gap up. But we were able to kind of hold that, go sideways a little bit to a little bit lower, and then now going to be gapping up again this morning here. So the level I'm going to watch for the day is going to be 30.79 quarters here for the S&Ps. We're currently printing 30.80 here. So any pullbacks to 79 quarters on the day, I think are good long opportunities. After that, look for a move up through 81.50s. And we've got overnight highs up there at 85.75s. Now we had a big 5-minute bar last night in the overnight session at about 6:30. That was 11 3/4 points. That took us from a low of 74 in the S&Ps to a high of 85.75s. And we've stayed inside that 1 5-minute bar throughout the entire overnight session so far. And we've been consolidating above this 79 quarter level here. So I'm expecting a quick little flush to 79 quarters right at the open. And then from there, I think we can work our way higher up through 85.75s. I have absolutely no idea where this market will or can run to, but it is super strong here. It is pushing higher, and I'm not going to fight that. Now, as we start to get a little bit more extended here, it's going to be harder and harder to get long, just both mentally and from an entry standpoint as this market just runs away to the upside. If you're feeling like that, you're getting, kind of that itchy feeling like you want to get short this market, you want to kind of fade it, don't do that just yet. It'll give us an opportunity. We might miss the first leg to the downside, right? We might, only catch, after the first 0.5% move to the downside. Then we can kind of step in once the market starts showing some weakness, break some levels. That's completely okay. Because if you're trying to short this market up here and you're just taking these 1 and 2 point stop losses along the way, eventually that's going to add up. And then if you're able to capture the move, you're going to do yourself no better than what you would have done waiting for the move and then getting in on a good entry after that, right? So that first little leg is just going to make up for those losses that you might have had. And again, that is if you are able to catch that. So if you're feeling like that, sit on hands here today. I'm liking the action I'm seeing out of the Russell here. That's probably going to be the main indice I watch. And then also keeping an eye on that gold and bonds correlation with what's going on in the overall markets here today. I think there's some really good underlying equities to focus on too. We've got Amazon here gapping up about $6 again. This thing over this $1,800 number should keep running there. Got a little topping tail in it yesterday here. Going to be gapping back up towards that topping tail here this morning. We'll see if that can hold. Netflix actually gapping down a little bit here this morning, down about $3 or so there. Not quite sure what to make of that. But we do have Roku earnings after the bell. Roku was up a bit this morning and is now sold off and is actually going to be gapping down a little bit on the day. So that one's kind of surprising there. Earnings after the bell on that one. BYND here gapping up about $3.30 here. This is going to put BYND at a really, really interesting spot. And I think we might be able to actually capture some longs in BYND over the next few days to few weeks there. McDonald's here, position we have on 189.55, 189.60. This is going to be gapping up about $1. Over 190.16, this thing has some room to run. Keep an eye on McDonald's today. And then last but not least, Google here. Google is gapping up about $2 or so here. I've seen prints up into the 12.93 handles so far this morning. But again, I'm looking for this to make a move up through 1291.61s. And then from there, I think we're looking at 1296.71s and then 1300s here for Google there. So anyways, that's what I got for you guys this morning. Market opens here in about 30 seconds. Thank you guys so much for coming on and hanging out with me this morning. If you're new around here, be sure to click that subscribe button so you know when we go live each and every morning. And if you want to watch me trade live, Jay, Rob, Perry, all of the rest of the MLT team members, then there is a link in the description below. You can join us in the MLT Discord. Again, you get access to all 4 of us, plus the rest of the community in there. Really love to have you guys a part of that. So click that link in the description below. We'll see you guys in there. Have a great rest of your trading day, and I'll see you guys back in just a few seconds.